first have to understand that the European system is not going to respect sovereignty. That's evident by what happens with the Palestinians on a regular basis. No matter how many UN sanctions that they put against Israel or they petition for Israel to be sanctioned with, it never happens. And this is a country of millions of people with a law and some forms of a military that we in America don't even have as black people. So while sovereignty sounds good and it might work for individual people at certain times, collectively 40 million of us in this country are not going to be sovereign. Second of all, we want to look at the fact that by paying taxes, we do live in this country. Still, we all make that mass exodus here. We still have to pay the taxes to be able to affect the infrastructure, to pay for the schools, to pay for the bridges, the roads, these type of things. So paying taxes is not such a problem to me. Now, I have a problem with the thing that I know is legal because the 16th Amendment was never ratified. However, being that we're here, we're going to have to play the game in order to manipulate the game to make it work for us. So, as far as the solution to this, again, education, of course, is key of knowing how the system works and what we can put in place to make the system work. We first got to become a part of the system and then go from inside the system, put our people in place to get these particular things done. This is long term. But we can't expect everything that we're trying to effectuate at this day and time to manifest in our lifetime, but we will have it for our future generations, if and when we recycle back into this particular existence. So we first have to get involved in the system, go in the system, learn it, come out of it, or at least what the movie Spook Who Sat Behind the Door, learn the system, teach the people outside of the system how the system functions, how it works, and then formulate a plan from that. Group economics, of course, we've seen through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad what happened. We've seen through the Honorable Marcus Garvey, and of course through my teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York. Group economics has always been the modus operandi for black organizations to get ahead. So we have to figure out a way to put aside our egos so we can get together and work and function as one whole group, as opposed to 20 individual groups with their religious dogmas.
When I started researching sovereignty, I went back to the history of the European, because they're the ones that came up with the word sovereignty. And what you find is that you have several people that argue what the concept of sovereignty is. So the first person that argued sovereignty was Thomas Hobbes. And I hope your listeners have the working tools, pencil and paper, pen and paper, so they can research it. Like our teacher said, don't believe me, check it out. Thomas Hobbes argued that the royal family or the king should have control of all the citizens. But then you had John Locke that came back and said the citizens should have total control of their lives. And this is all sovereignty. This is a different argument for sovereignty. Then you had John Rousseau that said the citizens and the king should have rulership over their life. So the problem is when we talk about sovereignty, we hear people talking about sovereignty, we have to understand or overstand what sovereignty the system is currently looking at. If they're looking at the people, which obviously they're not because we live in a republic, we just have to, let me go back, we just have to understand what they're talking about. And most people don't understand. They just take one definition and they run with it. As far as researching sovereignty, I can't help you on that. We've read so many different people's explanation of sovereignty and what it is pretty much kind of confusing. So the thing is, we just have to do business, like Kedar said, within the system, become a cancer in the system. When you hear the word manipulation, don't feel like it's a negative thing. We just have to go in with a winning attitude and utilize our business within each other or for each other. And when we were talking about, you said something about the numbers. I live in Milwaukee right now. Milwaukee County African Americans make $3,557 million in 2011. So it'd be nice to see each city find the information of how much money the African Americans made, then we could go and capture some of that money in order to build our nations up.
Wow, yeah, wow, that is a lot of monetary currency flowing in one city within the African American community. That actually threw me off. I forgot my question. So, in light of that, you guys have written several books together, actually. And let me see if I can pull that up. On Barnes and Nobles, you have you can get it for the Nook at $9.99, and that is Religion, Politics, and Freemasonry. And then there's also African Origin. I can't even read the subtitle right now. Then I went on Amazon. You can find your books there. I actually downloaded those two samples off of iTunes. I'm going to dive deeply into those later on when I get a chance. I'm literally getting off of work right now. So when I have my brain functions back, I'm going to read both of these books, and as I usually do with everybody who comes on the show, put a piece of the interview up